Ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside of Greenbrier High School on Saturday afternoon in the big town of Greenbrier and Evans area. And we welcome in Will Avery. He is, of course, the man who put this whole thing together for 6 strong years. This event has been going on. And Will, this might be the biggest and the best yet in terms of the Will Avery Christmas tournament for middle schoolers in 2 gyms right here in the CSRA.
I agree. If last night gives any indication of that, we had an overtime game and we had 2 undefeateds, one coming all the way from Statesboro, and it went down to the final 3 seconds of that one, and Pine Hill prevailed to continue their undefeated season. And Pine Hill is no stranger to being undefeated. They've won numerous championships and also has produced some of our better players that's now playing at the high school level.
Yeah, we'll get a chance to see them in our next contest. 3 games on Facebook. We'll bring them to you as they happen. Right now we're getting ready for the silver bracket championship game. In the red you have Hillcrest, and in the blue we have St. Mary's, who played a little bit earlier today. What are your thoughts about these 2 teams?
Well, St. Mary's played really well earlier as they knocked off EDS. E.J. Kinsey shot the ball really well, and I expect for them to win this game, he's going to have another performance like he did earlier in the semis.
Yeah. Contest finishing up with points, but it's St. Mary's with the basketball to open things up after the.
Seems like Hillcrest want to take Kinsey away as you see them denying him the basketball. That's very smart by Coach Brown to limit his touches.
Now fast break back the other way. Scholes headed toward the basket.
That's something Kinsey doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to put himself in a situation where he's picking up early fouls, because if he gets in foul trouble, that's going to be a huge loss for St. Mary's and very key to Hillcrest being able to win this game.
Yeah, Kinsey picked up the foul. At the line, number 11, Jonathan Smith. So Smith misfired on his first contest in the first ball game. In that first contest, what can you tell us about Smith's performance?
Well, Smith is going to have to control the tempo of the game. He has the assignment of taking Kinsey out of the game, so he's going to have to be smart, being able to wear Kinsey down without himself getting in foul trouble, because his squad is going to need him. He's doing a really good job early.
Breaking the press. 3 men around him, finds a man in the corner. Shot attempt up, no good. Weak side rebound, kept alive in the deep left corner. Now
there's
a 3.
Kinsey.
There he is.
There he is. That's what he does. As you see, Coach Brown gets upset with our guy Jonathan Smith. You know, that's one thing you can't allow him to do, and it's very tough sometimes, especially when you give up offensive rebound to find your guy.
Yeah, in that first contest for Hillcrest played on yesterday, they had a little foul difficulty with their big guy inside. So we got a chance to see him first and foremost.
Nice move. Good pass.
And they finish at the rim. So nice finish by number 2, putting that one home. That's Nogle's first field goal. His team leads at 5-1. It's coming right back and lacing a jump shot from the perimeter, number 23, Alvin Peoples. Back the other way in the low post, turning and facing and putting one home. In the painted area, that's Vincent Dresser. So using some versatility is Coach Rob Drew, as he didn't really play Dresser a whole lot in that last game, but he's out here scoring buckets early on.
St. Mary's seems to be the aggressor early on.
There's a hesitation move.
The skip pass was open. Across the court, Douglas was waiting on the open 3. Speaking of Douglas for St. Mary is the younger brother of the Aquinas running back and Georgia Bulldog running back, Brendan Douglas.
Great bloodline, huh? Hillcrest with the basketball. Outside 3 in the air. A little bit short of the mark. and they'll reset the offense.
Both teams are giving up a lot of offensive rebounds early on.
There's a steal. Breaking away from the field. Douglas to the basket.
Might have should have gave that one up a little early. He had Kinsey on his left.
Dribble penetration and a kick.
I think we got a foul.
Down the perimeter,
Ball
jump shot in
movement,
the air.
found the open guy.
Out of bounds off the Saints. Hillcrest basketball, 3:04 left to play. The clock is not moving. And now fast break back the other way.
And there's that second foul on Jonathan Smith, I believe. This is going to loom big in this one.
So at the line, St. Mary's number 4, Kevin Douglas. Knocks down the first. Douglas was 0 for 1 in their matchup against EDS from the charity stripe. Second one in the air. So he made an adjustment in between games on that free throw shot, and he extended the lead to 9-3.
Good drive and good finish. Nice basket by Elijah Shows.
With his first field goal. At the lead to 4. Outside the perimeter. Wide open 3, and it's
That's
buried.
good basketball. I love to see that. Drove him to the paint, drew the defense, and found his teammate for an open shot. Great basketball.
He's another complimentary piece for Rob Drew. Chase Spears knocking down that triple.
Oh,
back
tough
the
drive.
other way to get it in the low post, and that's good night. Nathaniel Lewis putting that one home.
I would like to see more of that from the big kid. There's clearly nobody out here with his size, athleticism. I would like for him to be a lot more aggressive and going to the basket if Jonathan Smith lays it up.
So Smith now with 3. And it's a 2-point game, 11-9, in favor of the visitors in blue.
Early on, St. Mary's has done a really good job of spacing the floor. You know, just can't get in trouble by over-dribbling. Continue to do what you've been doing, and that's been moving the basketball and finding open guys. They need to continue to do that to take advantage of Hillcrest's aggressiveness on defense.
Over the top, nothing available, and
Got
there's
to
a
be able
steal.
to make that pass. Got to find the big guy. That was 2 points.
Fast break.
Pass. Oh, he may have shuffled the feet. They got him. Thought he was going to get away with it for a moment there.
Still a 2-point contest. And there's another steal.
Get rid of it. Good job. Way to pass ahead. Let your best player create. Good finish by Kinsey.
Kinsey has 5. And the girls team for St. Mary's cheering them on with the personalized cheer.
Ooh,
And
tough
taking
drive.
that ball to the bucket.
This is
and
going to be a
scoring
good,
is Jonathan.
good matchup in the backcourt with Smith and Kinsey. That was nice. Those fouls like that to drive coach is crazy. As you see, Coach Brown has had enough and getting them out right away.
So Scholes will check out. And then to replace him, the diminutive Lavelle McCray. Shortest man in this event is McCray. What would you say, Will? About 4 foot even?
Yeah, that may be being generous.
He's obviously got some heart.
Definitely. And I like to see that in the little guys, you know.
Here's a throwaway. Apparently they said the ball was deflected. And now we got an over and back. So as you like to say in the basketball game, the ball never lies.
That's right.
13-11 is our score. We want to thank everybody for tuning in on Facebook Live as we bring you the exclusive coverage of this one. If you have any thoughts that you want to throw out there about your favorite team, you can certainly do that. Will and I will be able to interact with you as this game is deadlocked at 13 apiece.
Kenzie's got to give it up. You know, he's dribbling two there. He hadn't touched it in a while, hadn't got a shot. I know he can't force the issue. His team is still in the game. It's 13-13. Just let it come to you, young fella.
Shot attempt up, no good. Cleared, and St. Mary's has it.
Speaking of Kenzie's sister, who's in attendance today, was a really good player at Grovetown and Briarwood and also Florida Atlantic. She can really shoot the ball. So it's no surprise how well he can knock down the three ball.
Left, looks like he's trying to settle for the final shot, unless the big man sees something different, and he does. So he drives hard to the paint.
I like his aggressiveness there, Charles, again, but that time the help side defender collapsed. So now when he's got to kick it to 25 for the open look, you know.
Daniel Lewis set to head to the line.
And those things are calm. You know, we're still talking about 12 and 13-year-old kids here. But I like what I've seen from Lewis early.
He had 9 points in the Euro contest. This is Rich Brown yesterday.
Great job of getting Jonathan Smith out with 18 seconds left, and he's also going to get the between the quarter, and hopefully he gets him right back in.
Even with the distraction of the girls from the Lady Saints, he was able to make that one work. 1 of 2. And now we have a throwaway and a steal. Drop lane all the way.
Show's got to finish that. Yeah. Tough one to miss. Hopefully at the end of this quarter, Coach Drew tells his guys, you know, they kind of hurting themselves. When they have great spacing and move the ball, they get good looks, and most of the time they score. Every time they over dribble and try to do it themselves, they usually turn the ball over and allow Hillcrest to get easy baskets. They have to go back to doing what they were successful at, and that's spacing and moving the ball.
This is the Silver Bracket Championship game from Greenbrier High School. Evening, the 6th annual Will Avery Christmas Tournament for middle schoolers and other outstanding events happening with Will Avery. Make sure you check out the WillAveryCamps.com for complete details.
I like what I've seen from Jonathan Smith and Nathaniel Lewis for Hillcrest.
So Hillcrest with a set to begin the second quarter. I want to thank Guthrie Athletic Club for providing the production quality for us. St. Mary's with the basketball versus Hillcrest Baptist.
Here we go again. Every time they over dribble, they get in trouble and turn the ball over. Smooth the ball.
Perimeter passing sets up a wide open three.
Give it up, give it up, give it up, get up. Yeah, Douglas up the floor. You got to pass ahead.
Pump fake and a traveling violation.
St. Mary's is with all these turnovers, but they're still in the game. Hillcrest is out with their primary ball handler right now with Jonathan Smith in the break. It might be a time for Coach Drew to maybe experiment with any kind of pressure he has. Well, it's too late. Smith is checking back in. But in games this close, those are little things that can help you win games when you know it's going to come down to one or two possessions. If you can steal a couple possessions by forcing them to turn it over and their primary ball handlers out, that could pay off big late in the game. Nice drive, nice shot.
Basket by Alvin Peoples.
Give it up, give it up, give it up. Just move it, just move it, just move it.
If you're able to watch any of the histrionics of Coach Brown, he's really into this thing.
He wants to win just a little bit, right?
And Coach Drew on the other side. The wars at Glen Hills. Got a chance to watch him over his 4-year career.
Is this Coach Drew's first head coaching gig?
I believe it is.
Yeah. He's in the championship game. Not bad.
Yeah, not a bad job at all. And especially as much time as he spent around, you know, the higher levels of basketball here in the last few weeks and months.
That's right. Usually he would be doing what you and I are doing right now. Yeah.
Matter of fact, after the game's over, it would be interesting if we interview him, how he reacts to it, because he's so used to interviewing other folks.
That's right, little role reversal.
At the line for St. Mary's was number 3, Spears, unable to make it happen. But scoring down the other way is the big fella,
Nate Lewis. St. Mary's doesn't have an answer for that.
So Lewis unofficially now with 5 points in the ball game.
You got to get Vincent Dresser back in. At least you could probably put a body on him and move him off his spots. But with this lineup, if I'm Hillcrest, I go into Lewis every time down the floor.
Off the inbounds, they dump it down low. Turn and face, now kick out for a wide open 3.
Keep shooting it, keep shooting it.
Spoken like a true shooter there. Get it down low to Lewis, off glass.
There it is, man. They don't have an answer for that. As long as you continue to let him get on that right side of the floor, it's going to be a long day. You got to get Dresser back in the game immediately.
Got a timeout on the floor. So what have you seen, Will, in this first 9 minutes or so of action?
Well, Hillcrest has been mainly Jonathan Smith and Nathaniel Lewis. And Jonathan Smith's been doing a really good job of recognizing that St. Mary's just doesn't have an answer for Lewis and getting the ball into him, and he's been aggressive and he's scoring. He's leading his team. But on the other end, St. Mary's has to continue. They're not moving the ball as well as they did. You know, I bragged about their spacing early on, and they were finding guys. Now I think they want to do it too much for themselves, and it's getting them in trouble.
3:49 left to go before halftime. 21-13 is our score. This is the Silver Bracket Championship game from the 6th annual Will Avery Christmas Tournament. Event played over 2 days with middle school, the Globe. Played at Evans High School and Greenbrier High School. We got 2 more games coming your way. Lewis is at the line. He's 1 for 3 on the afternoon, and he knocks that one down. He was 3 of 7 from the charity stripe in our first game on last night. Very important for those big guys to knock down free throws. He's in there in the painted area trying to... And he and number 2 got into a... Nogle got into a battle. Nogle giving up about a foot in height.
I'm still shocked we haven't seen Dresser get back in the game.
Dresser has a field goal. Limited action. Nice crossover move there. Down the jump shot. So with that, it's 22-15 at the 3:05 mark.
It was a great pass ahead, great creation. I still think he could have made one more pass, but he made the basket. You know, so that's good. But they definitely got to share the ball a little more.
Again, no match for Lewis in the paint.
I'm telling you, Charles, if they don't get Dresser back in, he's going to finish with Wilt-type numbers today.
He altered that shot attempt right there by Spears, leading to a fast break the other way. Hillcrest underneath. Wide open layup is good. That is Scholes, his second field goal. 26-15, the largest lead now is up to 11. Good rebound. Fighting hard for the board on the perimeter. The wing, the fling. Rebounded and pulled out of there. They're going to call a foul against St. Mary's, number 2.
Hillcrest has sped St. Mary's up and forced them to play as individuals. That's definitely not their strength. Big fella got excited there on that drive and ended up traveling. The ball got stuck on one side of the floor. He got to do a better job of moving that ball and moving bodies as well.
Yeah, definitely seem like they're more dominant on the right side with their offensive formations. St. Mary's, that is. Most everything starts on the right side of the floor. No problems amongst the trees on that move right there by number 3. Taking it hard to the well and catching in.
Now, how tall did you say he was, Charles?
I said 4 feet.
No way.
As answering back the other way,
Muggsy Bogues would be happy.
Kevin Douglas. So 28-17. Hillcrest with the lead.
That's good basketball.
What do you like about that?
Just like the fact that as dominant as Lewis has been, that time he took his time and he found Scholes cutting to the basket and got an assist. And we talked about it earlier. After he scored early, he drove it again, and when he should have made the kick out to the corner this time, he makes the play by making the pass and opened out. Good job by the young fella.
Running left-hander put up there. No good by Cosper. Back the other way. Here's that man again, Scholes. So Scholes with 7 points in the quarter, Will.
I think he's trying to get that MVP.
16-point edge. The Saints trying to battle back on the perimeter. Lefty jump shot.
You know what I like about Lewis on the defensive end is athletic, and as tall as he is, especially for this level, he doesn't go crazy trying to block everybody's shot and gets himself out of position. He's done a really good job of just contesting by getting his hands up while also maintaining rebounding position.
It's interesting you mentioned that because last night, as you know, he was in foul difficulty and maybe learned something like that
Quick
out
learn.
of that. Right. These kids are student athletes. As that was knocked down by number 3, putting that one home for St. Mary's. That was Spears. 36 seconds remaining. Lewis back at the line. Say lane violation, but shot was in the air already, so they're going to count the basket. Three seconds, 2 seconds. 3-point heave off the glass, and it's good. At the buzzer, that's Mr. Kinsey closing out the first half with a buzzer beater to cut the lead to 11. 34-23, our halftime score, with Hillcrest in the lead. The Silver Bracket Championship game, Will.
Kinsey needed that to go down. He needed to see the ball go through the basket. You know, hopefully that'll get him going in the second half, because they're going to need him.
It don't matter what.
Welcome back. The start of the second half of this one. Hillcrest went into the halftime locker room with the lead. They led it by a score of 34-23 as they continue the party with Mr. Lewis in the low post. Lewis led all scorers with 14 points. Got assistance from number 1 for Hillcrest, Scholes, who had 9. 5 Smith, 2 for McCray, and 4 for Peoples. On the other side for Rob Drew and St. Mary's, they were paced by E.J. Kinsey, 8. Spears, number 3, had 7. 4 for Kevin Douglas, 2 for Brady Nogle, and 2 for Vincent Dresser.
You saw right out the gate, Kinsey was aggressive, getting in the lane, knocking down that floater. Like we talked about, that last shot going down at the buzzer should help his confidence, and they need him.
Jonathan Smith is at the line. 1 for 2 at the charity stripe in the opening half. Will, would you please ask somebody to close that door?
I knew it was coming.
You've heard some of those lady broadcasts, huh?
Definitely.
Either that or bend your knees, one. There's a collision underneath, and they're going to call a traveling violation.
But y'all, just going back to the start of the game when they were moving the ball so well, they're still back to that one pass and shoot basketball, and I just didn't think that works well for St. Mary's, you know.
Yeah, got to work the ball around, get everybody involved. On the perimeter, jump shot is put up and down. Number 23, an appropriate number, huh, Will?
Definitely. Yeah.
Alvin P. Basket.
We've seen a few great ones wear that number.
That's right. That's a prerequisite. Put that uniform on, number 23, you've got to have something.
Matter of fact, you saw a lot of one that just made her way in the building. This Deja Benjamin just made her way in to catch her sister, Desiree Davis, in the next championship game. And you've seen a lot of her.
Absolutely. Actually, a lot of both of them. But, yeah, Deja, we know very well and been following her since she moved on to the University of Alabama. As Lewis hustling all the way to the wall there. When we used to play in the playgrounds, we told the youngsters that wall doesn't move.
Speaking of Benjamin played in the first annual Will Avery Middle School Christmas and took home the MVP honors as she led Seagull to victory over my daughter in Riverside Middle School.
Big matchup that was, I know. There's Lewis with another rebound, fast break. Throws it out ahead, finds Smith. Smith, another one of those small guards at Hillcrest, very aggressive and confident with his ball handling. He'll go to the line.
He's really done a good job in leading his team tonight, you know, whether it be scoring, facilitating, defending, keeping things under control. He's controlled the pace of the game. He's been what a point guard should be for his team.
Comfortably knocks down a pair here after his earlier free throw difficulties. So a 16-point edge for Hillcrest.
Oh, I think Kinsey got away with a little push-off there.
Look like shades of Michael Jordan and Byron Russell. You gonna make him pay down this end? No. There's Lewis running. This ball headed our way.
Kinsey's going to have to learn he can't get it all back in one possession. Run your offense, move the basketball, cut, and when you get it back, that's when you look to be aggressive.
Yeah, congratulations, certainly, Benjamin. She'll be on our show tomorrow, Will.
Definitely, I'm looking forward to that. Having a lot of fun and talking to her about her experiences playing in the SEC.
And you guys will be able to commiserate a little bit considering, you know, the start for her happening right now is a good field goal knocked down there by Nogle. Cuts the lead down to 13, but coming right back and scoring. What did you think of that play?
I just think right now, Hillcrest is playing with a lot of confidence. No matter who's on the floor, who has the ball, and they're being extremely aggressive. And right now, everything needs to be going in.
There's a break, and there's great hustle again by the Saints. Not rolling over by any stretch of the imagination. Rob Drew, who played at Glen Hills. Of course, they were in some wars over his time. Cosper was the last guy that ran that one. And there's Cosper again in there on the rejection. A little help from Nogle.
As we look at the Pine Hill young lady sitting in front of us, thinking about current Memphis sophomore Elena Davis was also here, played at Pine Hill. I'm pretty sure she was part of at least one of those championship teams. You know, so many kids in our area have come through that program, like Keani Westbrook, Jordan Dorsey, and I think all have won championships.
And you talked to me earlier this week and told me how Elena was doing on the next level as she's gotten some recent accolades, as has Deja.
Definitely, Elena Davis is top 5 in the country in offensive rebounds. You know, she's 5th, and you know she's not necessarily tall post. You know, she's only 6'2", but that just shows you how hard she works and how she understands where the ball is going to come off. And if you can, you know, get offensive rebound and get extra possessions, that's huge. And she's getting 5 of those a game.
That is amazing. But we knew she had it in her, especially you watched her during her senior year. She was tenacious on those boards, and she took her team to Augusta University that year as they unfortunately didn't get a chance to make it to the Final Four. But they made it deep, a nice deep run into the Elite Eight.
And Charles, you and I both have been around this area of basketball for a long time. But have you seen any female improve as much as she did?
Yeah, amazing. When you think in terms of when she first got out on the floor, she had a difficult time just getting up and down the floor. You know, obviously part of it was conditioning, but also I think, you know, just her ability to understand the game and handle the ball. And, you know, the ball be thrown towards, I think she had probably a growth spurt like a lot of young ladies do. And, you know, you're more arms and legs than anything else. She had to kind of work toward that, but she worked diligently toward it. And like toward the end, you know, all-state prospect and an athlete that obviously garnered Division I offers, and she chose Memphis. Yeah, really excited for her.
She's continuing to get better. You know, every time I see her, she continues to get better. And she really wants it. She really, you know, you talk to a lot of girls and they don't say they want to play professionally. She does. You know, she understands the things she needs to do, the things she needs to add to her game, and she constantly works.
So 43-28. And I guess we talk about technology when it comes down to our ability to do this game in a video format for folks to consume. That wasn't possible 6 years ago. And to see an athlete, you know, rise through what she has, and now as a second-year player in Division I basketball, she's doing great things, still representing our area. And basically, she set up a legacy for that school. You know, they might even one day name the gym after her.
I definitely think she should be in the conversation.
43-28 is our score. 2:21 left. We're in the third period. This is the Silver Bracket Championship game for the Will Avery Christmas Tournament. Middle schoolers from all over the globe.
It's a good drive.
Nice drive indeed by Samazi.
He's been fairly quiet. That's his first bucket today.
Lewis in the paint. Retrieved by Scholes, who puts it home. So Scholes' second field goal in the quarter. Ups the lead to 15. There's another steal.
Here's that pressure again by Hillcrest. And
Kinsey. Nogle's shot just off the back iron.
St. Mary's is not quitting, though. They're still playing hard. Guys are still shooting the ball with confidence. They're diving on the floor. I like their spirit.
And Hillcrest calls a 30-second timeout. Maybe they see that energy rising at St. Mary's. The crowd gets in it.
Man, with that, Dion and I, we go way back, but obviously we had, probably one of the biggest games in the area's history, playing each other for the state championship in '95, and then he travels around with his football team, and they win the state championship. So it was a good time for the area, and we understand that. And one of the things we always talk about is, when is it going to get back to that? When we're constantly putting out college players, we're winning state titles, because I believe and he believes the talent is here.
At the line,
it's a good time. It's good for the kids to see us.
At the line is Jonathan Smith. Points in the game. Smith had 6 in the game last night versus Ridge Spring. That contest ended with Hillcrest rolling away thanks to an 18-7 run in that fourth quarter. 59-32 was the final. Final 30 seconds. Great rebound inside. 3-on-1. Heads up play there, Will. Jonathan Smith throwing it off the back of Kinsey.
Has Jonathan Smith done anything wrong today? I love what he brings to the table. Smart, tough.
Doesn't seem to let anything faze him.
Not at all. I mean, right away he jumped out, picked up Kinsey, knew Kinsey was the guy, picked him up from baseline to baseline.
And you touched on it. Kinsey was going to be the key, and they have held them scoreless in this quarter. Pulling up, let's see if he can make it happen, and he does.
There's our guy again. I went from like to now I love this kid.
And we're all set to begin the fourth quarter. Championship game 1 of 3 we'll have for you on Between the Lines as Lewis the man of the hour, scoring in the painted area.
And who passed the ball to him? That's our guy, Jonathan Smith. Great find.
And he's playing the small forward. At about 4'11".
Look at Smith, always vocal, talking to his teammates.
51-30. And over the back pass to a running number 23, Peoples. Peoples unable to make the pass count, but I think he will get an opportunity to make things good. No, actually, offensive foul is what's called over the top. So the Saints have the basketball. That's St. Mary's. Have it in the front court.
Oh,
Euro
nice
step.
Euro. Good move.
Back the other way.
Coach Brown thought he had the foul on that one, huh?
Yep. Instead, they must have called traveling. It's back the other way. Shot attempt up no good by St. Mary's. They trail by 21. 4:49 left. The shove underneath. That foul was committed by Scholes. So Scholes, Smith, and Lewis were the guys that we were looking at coming into this game, Will, and they've all lived up to the billing.
Definitely have rose to the occasion. They've been better today than they were yesterday. Each and every one of them.
E.J. Kinsey has that in the gym range when he pulls up his jump shots for Rob Drew, as we saw earlier today, and he got some assistance from Spears in that first half, but Spears has been held scoreless thus far.
I think events like this are really good for teams like a St. Mary's that are top team in their division, and they get to go outside of their division and play somebody that, you know, forces them to do something different and causes them to struggle. It's a good opportunity for Rob Drew to get with his troops over the break and work on some things to prepare them for their league playoff and hopefully win a championship there.
Dribble penetration. Ball deflected off Hillcrest. St. Mary's will retain the possession. 4:13 left. 51-30 is our score in favor of Hillcrest. They're in the red. St. Mary's in the blue. There's another rebound by Lewis. We talked about Wilt numbers. He's adding to it right now. Perfect hit-ahead pass as he tried to find his teammate Peoples. Picked up the foul, and he'll head to the line. We've got a timeout on the floor. So 4:05 left to go in regulation. 51-30 is our score. Hillcrest with the lead and in command of this one. And again, if you're going to put yourself in the mind of Rob Drew, what are you thinking right now in terms of trying to mount a comeback in this? You got nearly a little bit over half the quarter remaining.
Well, he's went to his bench right now, and looks like he's going to get some guys out there that normally don't play together or don't get playing time, which I think is good because you never know when you're going to need those guys down the stretch. So I think it's good coaching by Drew right now. Also, I like what Coach Brown is doing. He has a 20-point lead, but he's constantly coaching his team because there's always an opportunity for you to work on things and get better as a team, and he's doing that. You know, in basketball, you can never take any minute, any possession for granted. There's always an opportunity to get better.
And coming up in our next contest, it will be a nice one. Bel Air and their outstanding team that they put out a great effort over these last couple of days. They'll be taking on Pine Hill, as Will said, undefeated Pine Hill, who came off the deck a couple of times versus Langston Chapel. And they're out of an area a little bit further south than us. They said it's their first time in one of your events, I believe. Langston Chapel's first time playing in one of your events.
It is, and he has a really good team. He was telling me earlier that he's been catching a lot of slack from other ADs and also the board about running up the score, and he hadn't been trying to run up the score. You know, he's been falling back in the 2-3 zone, but they have a really good group.
And they were in a matchup on their second matchup, concluding matchup for them as they lost to Pine Hill at the last second of their contest on yesterday, or last night I should say. Regulation contest went down to the wire, but then in this contest they had a tough game against St. Mary's. A little bit more than they bargained for.
They did, but I like what they did. They played some of the girls that normally don't play, you know, which is good because, like you said, you never know when you're going to need them. And those girls fought, St. Mary's fought, and it was a really good game. But ultimately, they prevailed. They didn't hang their heads without being in the championship game. I always find it interesting when kids get that far back from the free throw line. I never understood that. Yeah.
I guess they had that range. They want to think of it more like a three than a free throw. And then a lot of times I wonder why, you know, folks don't just take a jump shot. You probably put up more of those than you ever will free throws.
That's interesting, you know, way to look at it, because I was never a really good standstill shooter. You know, if I was wide open, I would always jump, no matter. And the older guys, when I was playing in the NBA, would always tell me, like, young fella, you got to save your energy. But I probably didn't have the strength to, you know, just stand there and shoot the NBA three accurately enough to, you know, for my coach to allow me to do it.
Right.
But I was definitely not a good standstill shooter.
Acrobatic move right there by Nogle. Goes in with the right hand and finishes over the top of the tall tree. So 51-32, they've cut the lead to 19, 3:24 left. And now another drive to the basket.
I love this fight in these St. Mary's kids. They're still going hard, still playing.
Yeah. McCray with the push. And Lewis keeping his composure. As actually they called the foul against Hillcrest. I think the players are confused. Okay, there we go. They weren't confused. The officials waiting for them to figure it out. So I want to thank y'all for interacting with us. Will, of course, is taking some of your chats throughout the game as well, in between commentary. Versatile performer. A lot of folks jumping in and enjoying the broadcast. As Lewis knocks down the first. Seven from the line. He's got 19 points to lead the way. Give him 20. (53-32). The team in red, Hillcrest. Hillcrest Baptist on Deansbridge Road. St. Mary's on the Hill. 53-32, no. There's a nice hit-ahead pass. Breaking opportunity, elevating. The crowd continues to file their way into Greenbrier High School as they transition over from Evans. And talk a little bit about the matchups that we saw. We've seen, obviously 2 days of basketball here, you and I, but you also had some great matchups over at the other building.
Really good matchups. Tutt and Thompson Middle School got the party started with the overtime game over there last night. And Pine Hill and Langston Chapel may end up being the game of the year for middle school. I mean,
we're going to have a lane violation, I do believe, but it doesn't matter as he makes good on the free throws.
Yeah, then this morning, Langford plays Tutt to a 3-point. A kid that's advanced in 6th through 8th grade, that's a girl. You do not want to miss this event.
And it's only $85 admission to be a part of it. And what will they get out of the day?
During the day, we'll do NBA combine-style testing, where we test their verticals, their length, their different speed and agility things. We will also do some skill work. Parents recruiting session from Harry Ellison
down in Alabama, and recently named the most outstanding freshman of the week, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Driving the lane, taking the ball hard. Shot no good. There's a scrum.
We're going to talk to her more about this tomorrow, but I noticed the last 2 games she started, so that might be a permanent spot for her going forward. We'll ask her about that tomorrow on the show.
Yeah, again, we're doing Between the Lines, the TV show. You're on the Between the Lines page right now on Facebook, and we appreciate you doing that to check out middle school action in the Will Avery 6th Annual Christmas Tournament for middle schoolers.
Oh, nice.
And beautiful behind-the-back move. Loose ball. Has pulled out of there by you-know-who.
Something's good is going to happen now when this kid has the ball. It always seems to.
Tell him to clear it out for Smith. Driving the lane. There's contact. Samazi in there. They're going to call a foul. That would be Nogle. A 2-shot opportunity. We'll have to have a new player coming for the shooter. They're saying an injury as he's checking his toe. Nothing too severe. He still has the rest of the season ahead of him.
Charles, we have to select an MVP of this division. Who would you think is the favorite right now? Who would you say?
Well, certainly coming into this game, I was leaning more toward the guards and Scholes and Kinsey based on the performances that we'd seen thus far, but I think the big man may have stolen the show.
He's definitely been good, and him and Jonathan Smith, it's going to be tough. But we have to vote soon with 1:46 left. Either guy is going to be well-deserving.
Right now in this contest, he has 21 points. There's Lewis turning and break back the other way. It's Noble to the basket, and it's rejected, and that might just sew it up.
Yeah, big play, and it went off for the St. Mary's player.
Up by 20, and you deflected off the head of one of the St. Mary's players. I think that might just sew it up, Will.
That's right.
21 in this one unofficially to go along with 9 in the previous contest. So 30 points in 2 games that we watched them.
Well, we have at least one viewer that's selected, that agrees with you and selected Nate so far. Anybody else out there, if you want to vote on the MVP, please.
Yeah, you're inside of your last minute to do so. We'll be closing the polls here shortly. Taking the ball to the well, and laying it up and down, Samazi. So he still has fight in his game. His second field goal, he's got 4. Lead is down to 18. On the wing, the fling. Ding. Alvin Peebles, 56-36. Hillcrest. And there's Nogel again, making a late bid for the all-tournament team. They get it to Lewis. Back out, looking for that assist to go with the triple-double. And he's been in charge since we got here. That ball deflected in the corner. Remember, coming up next is the girls' championship. Top level of ball being played. The middle school championship. This is the silver bracket championship. Has a field goal put up and down by Kinsey, his first field goal in a while. Fortunately, it was too little. As your final score, Chris, 56-40. Remember, coming up next, it will be the girls' gold medal, gold bracket championship game. The ultimate in middle school hoops. The Lady Panthers ready for action. And they're right in front of us. And they're getting ready with their coach Mullis to head out on the floor to take on Bel Air. And Bel Air has looked really good in the couple of meetings we got a chance to see them in this event. They'll be playing for the title in just a little bit. So stay with us, everyone. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got the votes. I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I'm going to take a break on this side as we've got to do some other duties on the other side. This is the 6th annual Will Avery Christmas Tournament. The boys' silver championship belongs to Hillcrest. Again, final score 50.